So maybe like many others, you find yourself in the same situation where regardless of what kind of chest exercise you do not seem to get any results, right? You're kind of wondering like, what am I doing wrong in the gym? There's a lot of exercises that I'm doing and I'm not getting those results that I want, right? So basically I want to share with you guys something that's going to elevate your chest results to the next level, something that I tried differently and actually added today, and I'm going to share with you just this particular chest exercise that is going to change your chest game. We're going to talk about how to start improving your overall development of that chest muscle, right? So you guys need to understand that you have your medial, your upper, and then your lower chest. Now, most men, we tend to focus on that medial and upper chest. And actually, I will go on to say that not many actually focus on the upper chest because it's a really hard chest region to target. But that's not what I want to focus on. I want to share with you guys something that I did differently today that gave me the best pump that I've ever had. I'm going to share it with you. So hopefully you can take it and incorporate it in your next chest exercise or chest day. So basically what that is training your lower chest, right? Now, there's a lot of men, and I know this because you and I know that when you look around on chest day, hardly no one, and I say no one ever uses decline bench. No one ever does any kind of lower chest exercises, right? The decline bench just feels very off. It feels kind of weird, right? The whole setup, it's really difficult. So everyone just kind of steers away from training the lower chest, right? But if you're like me, I've been training my upper and then my medial chest, right, on the flat bench, just doing a lot of flat bench exercises, right? Where you think you're training your chest, but you're really just neglecting one major key component here, and that is that lower chest. Because if you want to have a 3D fully developed chest, then you're gonna have to target that upper, middle, and then that lower region. That lower region is very, very, very crucial, my guy. And I'm gonna tell you exactly why it's very crucial. Because let's say you have a developed upper chest, developed medial chest, right? But that lower portion of your chest is lagging, like many other men, and I'm guilty of this as well, then your chest is not going to be fully developed and it's going to look off, right? That lower chest region is just not going to be existent, and your chest is not going to look like it's lifted, right? You want it to stick out and be lifted, right? Basically, when you're training that lower chest, what you're going to be doing is you're giving your chest basically like a BBL, right? You're giving it a lift, right? So basically, that's exactly what it is doing. And when I actually trained lower chest today, everything was completely different, felt different. The pump was insane, right? I could feel my chest just being engorged, right? I could just feel that the results are going to start coming in. And I want to share this with you so that you can join me along this train of gains, right? That are going to be happening progressively in the next week, month, and even year, right? So by the time that a year comes around, you're going to have a completely different renovated physique, right? And everybody's going to be asking you, what did you do differently? This key component, this key tip that I'm telling you guys is going to take your chest to the next level, right? So do not neglect training that lower chest. I know that it's very uncomfortable, but trust me, when you start training it, and especially in the early sets of your chest day workout, trust, you're going to get that pump to the next level, to the moon, man. It's going to be a crazy feeling, and then your chest is going to start coming in. Now, a lot of you guys, when training your chest, you also need to focus on not just the pushing movements, right? But also on your adductor movements, right? Your chest, if you're not doing flies, trust me, my guy, right? That inner chest region is also not going to develop and your chest is going to be off. So I've already touched on one critical point here, right? That lower chest. But if you're not training your inner chest, you're not gonna have that separation, that nice look, right? That crevice, that little Grand Canyon chiseled, shredded look, right? If you're not doing flies, bro, you guys are still focus on doing all these pushing movements that you're forgetting to do your flies, right? Flies are very, very, very crucial, especially with dumbbells. I see so many of you guys that are doing them wrong, right? Your ego lifting or your technique is completely off. So you need to, dial it back, dial in your form, right? Because if you're not doing it right, you're going to be recruiting, you're going to be using, your triceps, your biceps, your deltoids, and you're just completely just ignoring the muscle that you're trying to target, which is your chest, bro, right? So you guys need to start focusing on that form, that contraction, right? Then you don't even have to touch the dumbbells, right? It's just focusing more so on that, just that contraction, right? You can feel it. And then, just focusing on that stretch, but you don't want to get a major stretch, right? This isn't really a stretch exercise to see how flexible you are. It's just more so just getting that nice contraction, slow it down, focus on that form, right? And you're going to start feeling that inner chest region working, right? So you guys need to focus on that adductor movement with your chest muscles. So basically, guys, I want to leave you guys, with those two major components that you're probably missing, because I am guilty of it myself, and I look around and I know that others aren't doing it either. So chances are that you are not doing it either. Well, if you're watching this, right? So I want to help you take your chest to the next, level. And if you're not doing these two things, then really I don't know how else to help you in that department, and you're not going to be seeing the results that you want, right? So not only focusing, on the pushing movements, and then also, on that subductor, like your flies or cables, right? But also there's certain machines out there, especially machines are really effective if you're doing them right, right? If you're able to retract your scapula, right? Once you retract your scapula, right, lock it into that bench, right? And then stick your chest out, right? And just focus on driving with your chest, right? Because a lot of you guys are gonna, when you're doing these pushing movements, you're gonna start recruiting your triceps. You want to eliminate the triceps out of the equation, right? We're not training triceps, right? It's not arm day, right? What we're trying to focus is on that chest. So retract the scapula, right? Pop your chest out, right, on that bench, lock it in, right, and just drive with that chest, right? You want to be driving with that chest. Just focus on that right there, right? Now I'm going to give you guys some advanced tips, right? And if you're watching this, you're lucky because I'm giving this game to you for free, right? You're basically going to be doing partials, right? So at that bottom, right, partials, right? Do 3 followed by 4 reps, right? And then at that top face, also do another 3 partials there, right? And then full 3 reps, right? And then just finish with partials. And trust me when I say, right, you're going to be pumping all that blood into your chest, right? You're going to be tearing apart those muscle fibers that are running all across different angles in your chest, your chesticles, right? Your little chest boobies are going to start growing. So you guys need to understand these strategies, these tips that I'm giving you for free, my guy, right? So don't tell anybody else, right? If you're watching this video, right, start implementing this in your next chest day workout into your routine and watch the tremendous results that you're going to soon start reaping. And I want to invite you guys, right, on this journey where I am also reaping all these results, right? Just by changing these different, techniques, these tips, right? It's not just about the exercises, right? It's the strategy that is going into these exercises that's going to set you apart from everybody else, right? So you're going to start looking good in summer, this fall, next year, 2026. So if you guys have gotten any kind of value from this video, I want you guys to make sure you guys like, comment, and hit that subscribe button. That way we can start growing this channel. And I want to invite you guys, to stay tuned for the next video, where I'm going to be sharing more tips to improve your physique to the next level. So you can start fitting in those clothing right, those shirts right, and you can just start getting that confidence that you're looking for. So make sure you guys hit that like, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next vid.